Battlefield 2042 has a brand new mid-season event, Leviathan Rising, an entirely new game mode which mixes things up from the regular Battlefield experience. In this video, we're going to talk about all of the positives, negatives, and everything else in between to do with Leviathan Rising, pretty much in that order, so there will be timestamps in the description if you want to skip to which part of the video that you'd like to see. But if you want to hear my opinions on what I think about this mid-season event, that's going to be towards the end of the video. It would be great if you could also hit the like button and sub if you're new as well. I'm Dame, and this is DameOver. And all of the footage you're seeing I grabbed from a live stream that I did the other day when Leviathan Rising launched. So what is Leviathan Rising? It is an 8v8 tactical game mode. You either play as the attacking team or the defending team to begin with, but you do change sides halfway through. As the attackers, your objective is to infiltrate 3 enemy objectives and plant lances, which are an EMP device, which basically captures the point and you need to hold it there and keep it running for as long as possible and stop the enemy team from disarming it. The longer it's on the point, the more points you get. If you're able to capture the point completely, that's maximum points as well. And if you can grab all 3, then the round is over instantly, leaving the other team, when it flips sides, to have to beat your time rather than beat your score. As the defenders, you're supposed to locate and eliminate the lance carriers and the dropped lances that they've planted and defuse them as they go. Now, 8v8 is much smaller than any of the game types we've seen on Battlefield 2042 so far, especially considering other events like Rush XL or last season's mid-season event Battle of Nordvik, which was all about ramping things up. DICE have decided to take a very different direction with this and shrunk things down instead. Now, with 8 players on each team, the map sizes obviously need to be much smaller accordingly, and they've picked actually pretty good spaces to play in, I think, in all of the available maps. There are a total of 4 different possible maps to play on: Manifest, Exposure, Stranded, and Flashpoint. And if you do spend time playing this game mode, you'll be able to earn ribbons to unlock cosmetics a little bit later down the line. Now, it doesn't take that many ribbons to unlock, which unfortunately, like in Season 3, means that it doesn't hold people's attention for that long, I don't think, but at least the cosmetics look decent this time. It's a smaller game type playing into the class system idea, medics being way more important than they used to be, and also resupplying if you're holding a point, also again being extremely important, with those assault class players coming in clutch in certain situations, with squad revives also having quite a large emphasis. So that's everything you need to know about how Leviathan Rising works. Now, how does it play? Well, as you can see in the background footage, this is me going through separate rounds, and I found that some of the close quarters guns, especially using the SMGs, were definitely the way to go. That's for me, at least, with my play style. Some people like to play things a little bit slower, using LMGs or maybe assault rifles, but unfortunately all of the recon class specialists kind of are a little bit redundant considering the size of the game mode. Now, as we already know from the class system and the different specialists as well, using particular guns does give you a certain benefit, but in this close quarters and considering the TTK in Battlefield 2042, using a different weapon that isn't quite suited to your class doesn't really put you at that much of a disadvantage. So essentially, pick whatever specialist you want and use whatever weapon you want. It's always going to work. Now, I tried a variety of weapons and tried to stick to those close quarters ones, including SMGs and shotguns, and that's honestly where I had the most success. In general, as the attacking team, it's relatively easy to be able to plant on at least one of the objectives and take up the defensive team's time while they try to stop your attack. And when you have 2 lances on the go at the same time, you can again generally plant the second one while the first one is being dealt with. I found that there was a bit of a pattern of teams splitting in 2, but with 3 entry points, you could generally have someone that is a bit better at flanking or decides to be a little bit cheeky to try and get round the back. They would have a very big impact on how that particular phase played out. So my initial thoughts when playing Leviathan Rising were that the fast TTK and the close quarters gameplay would definitely play into my playstyle. I felt like the range of fights that you tended to get in were way more suited to the TTK and the general setup of Battlefield 2042, especially considering lots of the weapons are essentially laser beams. The SMG is able to hose people down from absolutely ages away, assault rifles being almost the same. So relying on good movement skills and good flanking skills would go a long way to helping your team get the win, and someone like McKay with his grappling hook and extra ADS strafing speed would be a big advantage. But from what I experienced, it's not really the case. There was quite a spread of the different specialists, and to be honest, the game mode got a little bit boring after about an hour or so. Unfortunately, it became a constant case of watching out for someone that's hiding in a corner as you pop round, someone laying a trap with C5, which, you know, is a legitimate tactic, but it's a bit annoying after you run off spawn to just get blown up straight away. And then there's the classic grenade spam. The play zones, even though they are extremely small compared to the original map sizes, I think are just still a little bit too big. It takes way too much time as a defender to be able to move from one point to the next, and there's way too much open ground as well. It just means that the attackers seem to have the advantage on almost every scenario. While I think it's worth going into if you do want to grab the ribbons, I doubt you'd be playing this game mode for more than a couple of hours. It's a little bit unfortunate because, again, I feel like DICE had a real opportunity to get the player base back and to keep them interested for a long time. I would have thought they would have learned from the very short attention span they managed to grab from people in last season's mid-season event. I mean, you can unlock all of the ribbons in literally under 2 hours. But unfortunately, I guess they haven't learned from their mistakes. This game mode in and of itself is a little bit of a shadow of 2042 as a whole. It had a lot of potential to begin with, but unfortunately it has fallen very, very short of expectations. I know some people are going to absolutely love it, and that's amazing. I'm so happy that you're enjoying this game mode and that you enjoy 2042 as a whole. But I think for the casual player base, which, you know, is 90% of the players that do play any video game, it's just really not going to cut it. So if you want to see more of this content, I stream 5 to 6 times a week, so make sure you are subbed. I also have a Discord. All of that information is going to be down in the description, so make sure you check that out, and I'll catch you in the next one. That's DameOver. Peace.